Hello and welcome to my first real tutorial in C++. If you didn't watch my previous video, my name is William Blankenship and I'm glad to have you. Today we are going to actually work with code. What we're going to learn is first the standard Hello World program. We're basically going to tell the compiler to print out text. In addition, we're going to learn the proper structure of code, how to make your code easily readable by other programmers, and we're going to learn how to add comments to our code so other programmers can figure out what we were trying to accomplish, as well as ourselves, because more times than not, 2-3 months down the road, when you go back and look at code that you wrote, you will have trouble figuring out what exactly you were doing. So commenting your code is of extreme importance. So let's dive right in. Open up your CodeLite application, and we're going to make a new workspace. So create new workspace. Your workspace name can be whatever you want. It can have any name or any letters, symbols that your operating system will allow in system paths. So we're going to call this one Hello World. And I'm going to save it to the desktop under C++ projects. And then we are going to create a new project. So you're going to go to the workspace menu, down to create new project. We're just going to make a simple program using a G++ compiler. You don't really need to be concerned about the terms here. This stuff we can learn more about later. Just kind of just go through the patterns. The project name is going to be Hello World. Here we can't have spaces in project names, and convention, whenever you need a space, do an underscore. Now in CodeLite, whenever you start a program, it's going to type code for you. We're going to delete all that, and we're going to build ours from scratch. We are going to type pound include iostream. Then we are going to be using the namespace standard std. Then we are going to initiate the main function. And we are going to pass the argument hello world, or not the argument, the string hello world, to cout and return a value of 0. Now for those of you who don't know what's going on, it's fine, we're going to go through here and explain it in just a second. Now we're going to go up to build and run project, or Control F9 works just the same, and you'll see a window pop up and it will say hello world, and then press enter to continue. You press enter and it continues. So what did we just do? First off, we included the library iostream. Now this isn't of extreme importance to a new programmer. It's always good to know what's going on behind the scenes, but basically what we're doing is importing the library iostream, input-output stream, and including it in our program. And a library is just a collection of code that another programmer has written at a previous point in time, and we are able to utilize that code to our advantage. In order to use the term cout, we must include iostream because cout is included, or is a part of the library iostream. We are then going to use the namespace standard because cout is part of that namespace. We can get into the nitty-gritty namespaces and libraries later, but for right now, just kind of memorize the patterns and do this for every program you write. Our next step is the initiate the main function. In the main function, whenever your compiler starts compiling code, it's going to look for pound include using and then jump straight to the main function. It's going to pretty much ignore most of everything else outside of the main function until you reference it inside of the main function. The main function is where all of your code that will do stuff during or call other functions, call other variables, that will all go inside your main function. It is where the compiler starts from. And then the code that, or the part of code that actually does something is on line 7, and it's cout hello world. Cout is a command that takes in a string or a variable and prints it out. In this example, we are taking the string hello world and passing it out, or passing it to cout, which is displaying it on the screen. And then here we're returning a value of 0, and we'll explain exactly why that's going on at a later point in time. Now, and one thing about C++ is that white space isn't as important. For example, this code here, we could have just as easily written like this. And then we'll go to build and run project, and it works just the same. The reason we try to format our code the way we do is to make it easier for other programmers to read. We try to keep one function per line ended with a semicolon, and of course we always comment, which is what our next step here is. In C++, there are two kinds of comments. There is the standard comment, one-line comment, and then there is the multi-line comment. Which can take up, of course, multiple lines. Now, it's always really good practice to comment your code. It's going to seem really tedious when you start, or when you're getting started, but later on in life, in your programming careers, comments are going to save you hours and hours of tedious labor. So it's better to get in the habit of commenting now than later. Okay. Now, if we wanted to say, or if we wanted to add more than just hello world to our program, we could always add another call to cout. What we're doing here is basically saying, cout, this is my first program. So it's going to say, hello world, this is my first program. So we're going to click Control F9, compile. Hello world, this is my first program. Now if you notice, it printed it all on the same line. You have to physically tell your compiler when you want to do a line break, and we're not quite at that point yet, but we will be in the next couple video lectures. So for nice formatting, we're going to put a space at the end of that, recompile. Hello world, this is my first program. Press enter to continue. And we're going to comment it. And just to clarify, return 0, whenever you return a 0 in your main function, it's going to end the program. So this return 0 basically says your program has completed. So let's run this one last time. Hello world, this is my first program. Enter to continue. And there you have it. Now, just to recap what we've learned, we're going to cout will print a string or a variable to the screen. We begin all of our programs with pound include, and then the library name, and using namespace standard. And we begin the body of all of our programs using int main, brackets open and bracket closed. Then comments, we have two, a slash slash and a slash star. Slash star is for a multi-line comment that you end with a star slash, and slash slash is a single line comment that runs until the end of the line. Now I encourage you to experiment a little bit. At this point there's really not a lot you can do other than just output a lot of text. But in the next couple of lessons we are going to learn how to do arithmetic and variables and so on and so forth. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.